Thank you very much for attending this a little bit earlier presentation. Maycon and myself, we are going to be talking about projecting Android applications beyond boundaries. So, Maycon.
Yeah, in automotive, we have an evolving story of requirements. I talk a lot about UI here. I'm a UI person. I like to work with graphics and this kind of stuff. And we see that UI is an essential part of this car experience and often a differentiator between brands nowadays. And we see that users require like a smooth, impressive graphics while having like a familiar user experience. We heard yesterday this idea of like how we went from smartphones to smart cars, and how we don't want things to look the same everywhere. We want each brand have their own feelings, and we have the people like having their ownership of their cars. But that also brings like more complexity to guarantee stability and safety requirements as well. Also increase the platform costs. We also want to give autonomy to designers. We would like to still have our basic requirements like ASIL certificated or 800 milliseconds boot time, reduce the bill of materials, so also reduce hardware costs. This is still there, and that's important also for a lot of manufacturers and OEMs and Tier 1s and Tier 2s. One common way to solve that is, divide and conquer. We have our abstractions layers, verticals, multiple teams working together. Companies are getting bigger, cars are getting complex. Software is just evolving and evolving, and abstraction is there. We have, this core UI for whole infotainment systems. We want to integrate system apps, third-party apps. There is also the driver's display. We have our critical functionalities, telltales, all this kind of stuff that needs to work together and flawlessly. While that, we also want to avoid duplication of work, duplication of cost, duplication of code. We want to reduce costs. We want to reduce problems. Maintainability is a problem as well, so how make it easier? And having these abstraction layers, that increase exponentiality, the complexity of the systems. It's not just a monolithic stuff. We need to handle all this kind of stuff together and make it easier.
Okay, so you want to have really good graphics.
Of course.
With a lot of 3D and effects.
It looks good,
You want to reduce the bill of materials.
Like not getting easier or rolled taxes, tariffs.
Okay, and you want to have it boot up very quickly and be safe.
It's not about just me, but of what users expect. Like people are buying cars, they just want to drive. They don't want to, wait for an update of the system and staying there a long time.
Okay, and when do you need that in the production?
6 months to 1 year, of course.
Great, that's just perfect. Okay, yeah. So this kind of requirements is something that I have been hearing a lot over the past few years. Really trying to crunch all of these things that are conflicting kind of with one another into, one project. Oh, and can I hire more people to develop this?
Nope, of course not.
Perfect. Okay, so we need a smarter way how to handle this. So, let's say that we are going to be putting 3D and a lot of graphical things that maybe like interacting in multiple applications into a separate thing, into a separate service. Why? Because we want to then be able to reduce the whole performance thing, like the system requirements, because we do not need to put our 3D in every single application. We can just put it as a background service to run and include the views from this service into multiple smaller applications that are system applications or maybe third-party apps. But mostly it's going to be system applications like the system UI, settings, ADAS view, and so on. And this basically means that we are not duplicating the resources And this is how we, for example, solve your problem. And the designers can design only once, and they do not need to update every time there's a change into smaller application requirements to change those smaller applications, but only one service, and this is all. Okay, and what we currently have here is a very short video of like a prototype that we are bringing in the next release, which is going to allow us to run the 3D in a background service and be used into multiple across the system into multiple applications. So on the left side, you have one application which has one viewport. On the other side, on the right side, you have another viewport. And you can see that you can interact with cameras, you can interact with properties, but the same scene is being shown. No duplication of resources across multiple applications, and the performance stays very smooth and snappy because we do not need to run multiple engines as well. And the other thing that you mentioned that you want to also have is to have this kind of a 3D on the instrument cluster, but you want to have it safe, right? Great, but there's a systematic problem with that because you do not necessarily want to run something like an Android on the instrument cluster, not just because of the boot times, but also because of the safety. And that just doesn't work. So if you want to show the 3D there, you would need to replicate again and run another 3D engine there if you want to have 3D over there. Or there's a smarter way. You can basically show the same scene or a different scene from a different angle coming from the same 3D engine running on the side of the Android, on the side of the central display. And in this case, what we are bringing up is going to be content streaming that is going to be working with around 1 frame delay. So basically like 16 to maximum like 30 milliseconds. So that you can very easily put your scenes and views from the Android side into the instrument cluster, which can be running AGL, which can be running QNX, which can be running any other RTOS. So we are going to satisfy this kind of having really good user interfaces, but also making sure that this is like still running on whatever you want to have as a safety critical OS on the side of the cluster. Okay. So this is a very short talk with things to come within Qt 6.10, and I hope that this kind of a practical guide of how you can lower your resource usage and maybe make your development easier helps you out, and feel free also to reach out to us if you have any more questions regarding that, because this is really a lightning talk of just 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay.